This isn't just a wooden contraption, it's a testament to ancient ingenuity. Dark with age and the oils of countless hands, its simple crank hides a powerful secret. At the other end of that shaft, three wooden hooks spin independently, geared together, each about the size of a man's thumb. It's a beautifully simple design, all mortise and tenon joints, hand-carved details, worn smooth in places. There are no fancy metals, no intricate springs, just the honest grain of pine or oak, perhaps maple. It feels substantial, heavy in the hands, like something built to last generations. You might wonder if it's for spinning wool, or perhaps some kind of early drilling device. But the truth is far stranger, and its purpose speaks to a fundamental need in a world that moved much slower than our own. Most people have no idea what this was for. This, my friends, is a rope walk jack. And before the advent of machine-made cordage, before the factories churned out miles of cheap twine and synthetic ropes, this ingenious device allowed farmers and skilled rope makers across America to create their own custom ropes, right there on the farm or in a small workshop. Imagine a time when every length of rope was a precious commodity, essential for everything from tying down hay bales to harnessing a plow horse, from hoisting a well bucket to securing a sailing ship. The rope walk jack was central to this craft. The user would attach individual strands of fiber, hemp, flax, cotton, or even twisted animal hair, to those three spinning hooks. The fibers would then stretch out along a long, clear path, sometimes hundreds of feet long, called a rope walk. At the far end, another simple device, often just a stationary hook or a block that allowed for tension, would hold the strands. As the craftsman slowly, rhythmically turned the hand crank, those three hooks would twist the individual strands together, tighter and tighter, while the operator slowly walked backward, guiding the forming rope. The magic was in the gearing. Each hook spun at the same rate, ensuring an even, strong twist, creating a single, robust rope. It was a painstaking process, requiring patience and a good eye, but the result was a strong, custom-made rope, built precisely for its task. The disappearance of the rope walk jack is a story of progress, of course. Industrialization brought massive rope-making machines, and by the late 1800s and early 1900s, machine-made rope became so cheap and ubiquitous that the traditional craft and its tools simply faded away. But the rope walk jack wasn't the only forgotten tool that shaped early America. Take this next piece, for instance. It's a short, sturdy wooden handle with a broad, flat metal blade curving sharply inward, almost like a miniature, heavy hoe. It's called a cooper's adze. For centuries, coopers were vital craftsmen, making barrels, casks, and tubs for everything from whiskey and flour to water and salted fish. And this adze was one of their most important tools. A cooper would use this adze to precisely shape the inside of a barrel stave, making it convex to fit perfectly against its neighbors, or to hollow out the end of a stave to accept a barrel head. It was about creating a watertight, airtight seal, entirely dependent on the precise fit of each piece of wood. The short handle allowed for incredible control, and a skilled cooper could shave off thin curls of wood with a rhythmic, almost surgical precision, guided by the grain of the oak or chestnut. The satisfying thwack of the adze biting into wood, the scent of fresh oak, and the steady rhythm of a cooper at work defined many a workshop. Why did it disappear? Modern milling machinery and the rise of other storage containers like metal drums and plastic barrels meant the demand for hand-built wooden cooperage dwindled. The craft itself became a niche art, and the tools followed suit. From the cooper's precise work, we turn to something that speaks of long days in the field, of horse-drawn plows and hand-sown seeds. This next tool is a long, slender wooden pole, about 5 feet in length, with a small, flattened paddle-like extension at one end, maybe 6 inches wide. This is a broadcast seeder, sometimes called a seed lip or a hand seed sower. Before precision planting machines, farmers had to scatter seeds across their fields by hand. A farmer would fill the paddle-like end with seeds, wheat, rye, barley, and with a rhythmic swing of their arm, they would broadcast the seeds in a wide arc across the prepared soil. The length of the handle and the design of the paddle helped achieve a more even distribution than simply throwing them by hand. It was a simple tool, but essential for planting vast fields. Imagine a farmer walking back and forth, sunrise to sunset, The rhythmic swing of the seeder, the gentle patter of seeds falling to earth, the hope of a bountiful harvest resting on each scattered grain. It was hard, honest work. The surprising detail? The skill involved in getting an even spread. Too thick in one spot, and the plants would compete for nutrients. Too thin, and yield suffered. It was an art as much as a science. This tool faded with the invention of mechanical seed drills, which could plant rows far more efficiently and evenly, covering much larger areas in less time. Did your grandfather have one of these in his shed? Tell me below in the comments. I love hearing those stories. Now let's look at something that lived in the heart of the home, transforming rough, raw ingredients into something delicious. This is a simple, heavy wooden bowl, but its real secret lies in the long, thick wooden pestle that accompanies it. The pestle has a smooth, rounded end and a narrower handle. This is an American wooden mortar and pestle, specifically designed for grinding corn into meal, or perhaps for crushing spices and herbs. Unlike the smaller, more refined ceramic or stone mortars often seen for medicines, this was a robust, everyday workhorse. A colonial housewife would place dried corn kernels in the bowl, grasp the heavy pestle, and pound away, turning hard kernels into a finer meal for johnny cakes, porridges, or bread. The wood was chosen for its durability and its ability to withstand constant pounding without shattering. The rhythmic thud of the pestle, the fine dust of corn rising, the subtle scent of fresh grain. These were the sounds and smells of a working kitchen, creating the very foundations of American cuisine. This tool was supplanted by water-powered grist mills, and later, by mechanical hand grinders, and eventually, electric blenders and store-bought flours. From the kitchen, let's step into a blacksmith shop, a place of fire and iron, muscle and skill. What you see here is a sturdy pair of tongs, but unlike modern tongs, these have very long, flat jaws that narrow at the end, almost like a pair of duck's bills. This is a blacksmith's bolt tongs, or flat-jawed tongs. A blacksmith, working with white-hot iron, needed a precise grip. These tongs were specifically designed to hold flat stock, like a bar of iron or the shank of a bolt, allowing the smith to hammer, twist, or cut it without losing his grip or burning his hands. The surprising detail here is the sheer variety of tongs a blacksmith would own. Dozens, each designed for a specific shape or size of metal. These flat-jawed tongs were fundamental for holding square or flat stock, for drawing out material, or for the delicate work of shaping a bolt head. They were extensions of the blacksmith's own hands, allowing him to manipulate glowing metal with incredible accuracy. The roar of the forge, the ringing of the hammer on anvil, the dance of tongs and glowing iron. That was the symphony of a blacksmith shop. With the mass production of metal fasteners and parts, and the decline of bespoke blacksmithing, specialized tongs like these became less common, replaced by industrial processes and generic gripping tools. Let's shift our gaze from the powerful smith to the meticulous worker who built our early roads and walls. Here's a tool that looks deceptively simple, a wooden handle, perhaps 1.5 feet long, with a heavy, flat, rectangular metal head on one end, often with a slight bevel. This is a paver's rammer. Before asphalt or concrete, many American streets and pathways were paved with cobblestones or bricks. After placing each stone or brick, a paver would use this heavy rammer to forcefully compact it into the sand or gravel bed, ensuring a stable, even surface that would last for decades under the weight of carriages and foot traffic. The weight of the head, often cast iron, provided the necessary force, while the wooden handle absorbed some of the shock. Imagine the rhythm of a crew of pavers, their rammers rising and falling in unison, the solid thud as each stone was set firmly in place, slowly building a durable thoroughfare. It was back-breaking work, but it created surfaces that, in many older cities, still stand strong today. The cleverness lay in its simplicity and effectiveness. Its demise came with the advent of steam rollers and later motorized compactors, which could do the work of dozens of men far more quickly and efficiently. Finally, let's revisit the need for strong connections, for holding things together, but on a much finer scale than a barrel or a paved road. This last tool is a small, hand-cranked device, often made of brass or steel, that looks a bit like a miniature vise with a narrow groove running through it. This is a wire twister, or sometimes called a splicing clamp. In a time before readily available crimp connectors or robust electrical tape, people would join wires, or even thin strands of rope, by twisting them tightly together. This small device allowed for a very clean, very strong twist. A craftsman, or even a resourceful homeowner would insert the two ends of wire into the groove, clamp them down, and then turn the crank. The tool would rotate the wires around each other with a uniform tension, creating a secure splice. This was particularly important for fence repairs or for making small, temporary repairs to mechanical devices. The precision it offered ensured a much stronger connection than simply twisting by hand. It was a testament to the ingenuity of a time when every repair was a creative act. The wire twister became obsolete with the mass production of simple, standardized connectors and the widespread availability of insulated wiring and new joining technologies. These tools, each in its own way, tells a story of ingenuity, hard work, and the relentless march of progress. They represent the countless hands that built this country, shaping its landscape, its homes, its commerce. Each served a critical purpose, solved a practical problem, and then, as new technologies emerged, quietly retreated into history. But their stories remain, etched in the worn wood, the smooth metal, the very design of their purpose. They are more than just objects. They are echoes of a bygone era, whispers of the lives that depended on them. These tools built this country, and we let them fade. Hit subscribe so they are not forgotten, and tell me below if your family owned one.